Are you thinking about using a paper or other physical journal to write down your thoughts, your to-do list, whatever that might be, but you're not sure if there might be some maybe hidden obstacles or some pros or cons you're not aware of? In this video, I want to share with you what I find to be really the big upsides, as well as a couple potential downsides for physical or, pen and paper journaling. I'm Adam with the Productivity Academy, and let's start out with the pros or the good things about physical journaling, using your pen, using some paper, and getting things out of your head. Again, whether you're doing some sort of detailed journaling, you're doing kind of a brain dump, or it's just kind of random and you just are thinking about it. I'm not going to go into all the different types of journaling that are out there, but I want to focus on a couple of reasons why you may or may not want to do this. So for myself, I found that a really good a good thing about this is that writing can transform your kind of vague ideas and the things in your head, both good and bad, into something specific. As an example of this, it may be that you've got an idea for a project and just writing it down and listing out some of the things about it. What are you thinking about? What are things that need to be done? What are maybe, some boundaries of this? Helps you really solidify this and better understand what you're thinking about. This is also good if it's a negative thought. Let's say you're worried about how a project is going. You're worried about a relationship, an aspect of something. A lot of times when we write these things down, it becomes more real, and we realize that a lot of our worries or fears are not as bad in reality as they are when they're these vague kind of formless ideas in our head where we're thinking, oh no, there's something bad. Or it points us in the direction of, oh, there is something wrong. I just need to do this thing and get it taken care of. And now I can move on and stop worrying about it. A lot of times too, you could even write these down. I believe there's a term, it might even be called like a fear book. Writing these down and reviewing these over time, like just have a page where you write down the things that you're worried about and then review those on a quarterly basis and just see how many of those came true, or how much, did it become 100% true, or was it like 1% true? That can be really interesting to do. And over time, you see that a lot of times, we can kind of spin out in our mind, and then putting it down onto paper can help us realize, okay, this isn't so bad. With that, I think that you can also see another positive aspect from writing things down with pen and paper is a little bit of improved recall or memory. And it's not just from opening it up, looking at it, but it's going through the practice of actually writing something down. This has been proven before, whether you're drawing, you're writing, you're doing something else, you're mixing up these kinds of ways of recording information, and you're just strengthening that pathway. And you're going to remember these things. You're going to have better recall with this. This can really help. So that may be something you want. If so, that can definitely help you out. I touched on this in the first part, but I want to talk a little bit about focus and slowing down. A lot of times I find that when I use a voice dictation software or some other automated aspects, I'm able to get words out at a much faster rate, but sometimes I just need to stop, slow down, and work at the speed of writing. And it can really help me to focus and slow down when I take my journal, I take a pen, and I sketch things out. I write down what my thoughts are for the day. I write what's going on. And I find that being a little bit more intentional about that can help instead of just rushing, go, go, go. That, again, is semi-personal. That may be something you're looking for. And if it is, I've found that this helps. It's also a limitation on me and how fast I can write. So for you, that may vary. All right. Last but not least, I like the creative flexibility, I'll call it. The ability to do what you want. If you want to use prompts, you want to answer the same questions every day, that can be really, really helpful. But maybe you want to do a doodle, or maybe you had an idea for a great birthday present for somebody, whatever it is. I find that can be super helpful. And so long as you go back, maybe do a review on your notes once a week, once a month, something like that, you can maybe pull out the really important things, do whatever you need to do with them, create an action item, set a reminder, put them into your digital notes if it's something you want to keep. But I do like the flexibility to kind of do whatever you want. Okay, so let's talk about some potential cons or downsides of physical journaling. I think that a lot of these, I'll say it up front, a lot of these can be overcome. I don't think that these are insurmountable, but they're things to be aware of. And if you're just getting started journaling, the very first and most important thing, like anything, is try things out. Don't go out and, buy the most expensive, crazy journal. You're probably going to want to play around with formats. Maybe you want a hard cover. Maybe you want a soft cover. Do you want a large format, small format? Do you want something that goes in your pocket? So just go out and try some things. And if you're talking about a physical journal and a pen, you're definitely going to want some flexibility and to test out what actually works for you, because the goal is to use it regularly. Okay. So on that note, I think that the bulk and the lack of portability can be difficult if it is an issue for you. And I say that because, let's say if you're a student or you regularly carry a backpack, might not be an issue. You can just toss it in. You always have it. If you want to use something larger format, you enjoy drawing, or you just like a large page, it might be an issue to carry it around. You might want to have maybe one at your home that you use. Maybe you have one in the workplace. And so this can just be something that you need to work out. I don't consider it a huge obstacle, but it's something to be aware of. I think that also the search and the flexibility. So while the focusing aspect of a physical journal can be a pro, the con of that can be, and it will be, a little bit more difficult to index. You can use a lot of note-taking systems, talk about this on how to organize it. I do things very simply. If I have something that's really important, I just draw a circle around it, or I write it in huge letters, draw some arrows, do things like that. And then later on, I can move it into my digital note system. But if you don't do that, you might lose it, whatever. In my mind, I think that the pros outweigh the cons of this, but again, it's something to be aware of. You could just set up like a weekly reminder where you go through and review your notes and transfer anything you want to keep potentially long-term into digital form. Or if you are going analog, physical only, then you just say, hey, it's not an issue for me. With the last one, I will say that this kind of blends everything together, and it's consistency. I think that having things digital right now can make it much easier for you to be consistent. And you have to probably build this habit of physically journaling. And it might help you to have a little tiny notebook that you keep in your pocket. It may be that you put it somewhere that you're going to see every day, whatever that is. But having a method and setting your environment to help you with consistency can be really helpful, because we've gotten used to our phones, our computers, having reminders, having a calendar we're checking, and making sure that we're taking advantage and making use of those to help our physical journaling is going to be important. So with all of that said, I think, like I mentioned in the beginning, that the cons don't really outweigh the pros. I am a big fan of writing physically into a journal. I keep my to-do list in there. It helps me stay focused. But what I would say is potentially using a hybrid approach. And I think that overcomes a lot of the issues. You can write down your notes, your to-do list, and then move anything you need into a digital form for long-term storage, whether you're using something like Notion, Roam Research, one of the many other great tools for kind of digital note-taking and organization. I think that that's probably the best way to go about this. And if you want to be analog or offline or physical only, that's great. But I think everyone can agree that for the vast majority of us, we need to have some sort of a presence online, and that having a digital note system combined with our physical journal is going to be the way to go. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, if you'd like to add how you do this, if you use a hybrid approach or one or the other, leave a comment and I'll get back to you.